There is finally good news for seniors, and I'm excited to bring this to you. There's three breaking news that is going to help seniors not only put money in their pocket, but also give them some relief. So let's jump into it. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of things that is finally some good news that we've been looking for. A lot of us have been very stressed about all the bad news that have been coming in and out of Congress regarding senior benefits. And today I'm here to share with you some exciting news. So, this is what we're going to talk about today: three Social Security good news for seniors. I'm also going to talk about the big, beautiful bill and what's going to happen to Medicare. And finally, I'm going to answer your questions live. So, if you have any questions you want me to address, drop them in the comments section below, and I'll go through them and try to answer as many as possible. My name is Kwame Kwade. I am a personal finance expert. I've been doing this for 15 years, bringing seniors the necessary information to get the benefits that they've worked so hard for and deserve. And my job is to keep you up to date on Social Security, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, and more. I'm also an adjunct professor. I teach finance to graduate students at one of the most prestigious universities in the country. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about, and specifically, let's talk about the breaking news out of the House: $4,000 in bonus coming to all seniors. And I'm going to go to the Congress website and show you how they think each senior is going to be able to tap into this $4,000 bonus that just passed the House of Representatives. So stay with me. I'm going to walk you through that. But first, let's just look at the news as it was presented by the House of Representatives on what they are trying to do to help seniors. So let's go to this article by Market Share. It says a new senior bonus could give older adults a $4,000 tax break. Here's who could qualify. Trump campaigned on a pledge to eliminate taxes on Social Security. Is this it? So, a Republican tax proposal could give people age 65 and older an additional deduction of $4,000, and they're calling this a senior bonus that will ease the tax burden on older adults. Although it would not end taxes on Social Security, which is what the president promised, this proposal is currently what passed Congress. The next step is for it to go through the Senate. Under the proposal, seniors will get $4,000 and it will allow them to deduct an additional $4,000 in their taxes. The deduction is allowed for taxpayers who claim the standard deduction and for those who elect to itemize their deduction. So what they're saying is that whether you claim the standard deduction or you claim itemized deduction, this $4,000 bonus is going to be available to you. Let's read some more. It said that it is out with income over $150,000 for those filing jointly and $75,000 for those filing single. So if you're filing for filing by yourself and you make 75,000 or less, you are eligible for this tax relief. And if you make $150,000 filing jointly as a couple, then you are also eligible for this tax break. Trump campaigned on a pledge to end federal taxes on Social Security. However, under the Byrd rule, which is a Senate rule, lawmakers are prohibited from making any changes to Social Security in the budget reconciliation process. That is the process they're using right now to pass the big, beautiful bill. And Senate rules forbid them to make changes to something like a Social Security, which is a way to protect Social Security from Congress making cuts like this to Social Security under this rule. And so it's good news for seniors. It protects Social Security. So the president is not allowed to do this under reconciliation. So the next thing they're doing is the next best thing, which is offer seniors this $4,000 bonus. So let's read some more. The trust fund that backs Social Security are expected to be depleted by 2035, at which point beneficiaries will receive only 83% of their benefits. So eliminating Social Security taxes is going to make that worse. So essentially, what the president realized was that if he went and eliminated eliminated taxes on Social Security, he's going to make Social Security situation even worse. And so this is the next best thing to offer some relief to seniors by giving seniors this $4,000 bonus that you can deduct from your taxes. And I'm going to take you to the House Ways and Means Committee website that is going to show you how they think that the no taxes on Social Security, even though that's not going to happen, how this $4,000 bonus is a better deal for seniors and why it should get a lot of seniors excited about what's coming in. So I'm going to share my screen with you and share with you the House Ways and Means Committee website and how they are calculating this benefit and how it's going to impact seniors. So let's go there. So here it is. So basically, it says who benefits from the one big, beautiful bill that gives seniors new tax relief. And what they're saying is that the one big, beautiful bill fulfills President Trump's promise to seniors and provides welcome relief after 4 years of inflation robbed their retirement under President Biden. Each senior will receive an additional bonus of $4,000 to the standard deduction, putting more money in the pocket of millions of low and middle aged seniors. And here's the Ways and Means Committee Chair Jason Smith of Missouri. Seniors spent the last 4 years struggling to make ends meet under President Biden's out of control inflation. Republicans are keeping with President Trump's promise to help seniors afford the cost of living through an expanded senior deduction. And he goes on to say that the one big, beautiful bill, this bill helps low and middle income seniors like my aunt, who worked as a Walmart greeter to supplement her Social Security check. By keeping his promise to help seniors, President Trump is ensuring millions more Americans will be able to afford groceries and education and enjoy a dignified retirement. And now they're giving you a real world example. Sometimes when Congress passes these bills, the question is, okay, how does it affect me? What Give me a scenario that shows me that this bill that has been passed by Congress is going to benefit me. Well, that's what the House Ways and Means Committee is doing on their website. So here's what they have. It says real world examples how President Trump's tax cuts help seniors. An additional $4,000 per senior to the standard deduction will help seniors whether they are receiving Social Security or continuing to work. Because of policies like boosting the standard deduction for all filers, along with an additional benefit for seniors and things like no tax on auto loan interest payments in the one big beautiful bill, a retired couple living in Florida would receive 1,650 tax cut as compared to what they will pay today, which will help pay for groceries, housing, care, and medication. So here's what their calculation came to. So they're saying that because they've enhanced the standard deduction, that puts more money in your pocket. Additionally, they have enhanced deduction for seniors. So that's the second thing they're doing to help seniors put more money in your pocket. And then the third thing is that there's no interest on, no taxes on car loan interest deduction. So they're basically giving you another way of, getting more money. So if you pay interest on your car loan, you can deduct it from your taxes, which is something they're saying is new. So if you put all that together, they're saying that an average senior couple who purchased a new car and also is going to get the enhanced standard deduction. On top of that, they're going to get this enhanced senior deduction. All of that will contribute an average of about $1,650 into your pocket as a senior. So here's the first example they're giving, and then they have two more examples I am going to walk you through so that you can see if it fits your scenario on how this big, beautiful bill is going to benefit you and your situation. So let's read some more. So they're looking at a New Jersey taxi driver that is married and a senior that is still working. So that's the next scenario that the House Ways and Means Committee is looking at. So here they're saying that the enhanced standard deduction plus the enhanced senior deduction, plus no taxes on tips. Remember, that's one of the things that the president's tax cut was supposed to do, is eliminate taxes on tips. Well, they're saying that in this scenario, a New Jersey cab driver who is a senior and married and is getting tips from being a cab driver, this is the example of tax cut that they're going to get. They're going to get almost $2,000 because of the enhanced standard deduction, because of the enhanced senior deduction, and then no taxes on tips. Those three things are going to contribute to an average of $2,000 in tax break for that person. So as you can see, they are, and I said a married senior citizen in New Jersey who earns tips as a taxi driver will get an additional 1,989 in his pocket from President Trump's tax relief for seniors and no taxes on tip. And that is how they came to that number. So I want to hear from you. Do you think that this tax bill, the $4,000 tax bonus for seniors, is a good idea? And how is that going to affect you? Do you think that is going to put money in your pocket? Let me know in the comments, because the president promised no taxes on Social Security. He will not be able to deliver on that in this reconciliation bill. And so he's offering the next best thing, which is a $4,000 bonus, up to $4,000 bonus to seniors, as a way of giving you more money to afford groceries, to afford medications, to afford just the cost of living that has gone up and stayed up. So I want to hear from you in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about this. Now, let's get to the second good news that has come in this June that is going to help put more money in the pocket of seniors. So I'm going to share my screen again and walk you through the Social Security lump sum payment from the Fairness Act. This is CNBC News. It's saying that 91% of Social Security Fairness Act increases lump sum payments have been processed according to the Social Security Administration. So almost 2 million seniors have received a $6,000. If you haven't received one, pay attention. This may impact you. So he's saying that a new law passed in January 2025 provides nearly 3 million people with Social Security benefit increases. In a new update, the Social Security Administration says that 91% of adjustment have been processed. So if you were impacted by this, I want to know if you've received your lump sum payment. And if you have not, but you think you were, listen up, because I'm going to share with you who is eligible. So the Social Security Administration has now processed about 91% of cases related to the new law that is promoting higher benefits and lump sum retroactive payments for nearly 3 million seniors. The Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law in January, eliminates two provisions: the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, the GPO and the WPP, that previously reduced benefit for individuals who receive income from public pensions that did not require the payment of Social Security payroll taxes. At the same time, at the start of this year, the Social Security Administration said they were going to process these payments, and now they're saying that they have processed 91%. So who does this bill affect? The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law on January 5th, affects certain individuals who are eligible for Social Security benefits, but who also receive pensions from work that did not require the payment of Social Security taxes. And so why should you care about this? Well, there were some people who worked in the private sector and earned enough to get Social Security credits. And then they also worked in the public sector and were getting government pension, but their public sector jobs did not pay into Social Security. So even though they paid money privately into Social Security when they were in the private sector, this bill, this law that was done in the Reagan administration, prevented them from getting Social Security benefits, even though they were eligible for it. And so this particular bill that was signed into law in January is supposed to fix that. It's supposed to really address that injustice that was done to those people. So why should you care about this? Well, here's the thing. More money is coming into the pocket of seniors, and I want to share that with you. Examples of those affected were teachers, firefighters, police officers, federal employees covered by the civil service retirement system, and people who were covered by the foreign Social Security system. system, according to the administration. Now, not everyone in these groups will receive benefits. About 72% of state and local public employees pay Social Security taxes, so they would not be affected by this. But here's the thing: 2.8 million people have already received their checks, retroactive checks of up to $6,000 on average. So the question is, what is next? What's going to happen next? Well, individuals affected may see monthly Social Security check increases about $1,000 on the upside. So somebody that is getting Social Security benefits and was impacted by this could see a $360 Social Security increase monthly, up to $1,190 increase. So I want to hear from you. Were you somebody that was impacted by the Social Security Fairness Act? Did you receive your $6,000 in lump sum payment? And have you seen an increase in your Social Security benefits as a result of this? I want to hear from you in the comment section. I want to know who has been impacted, because I know 3 million people are going to get this increase. And I want to hear stories from those who've received the check so that we know it's real. And then for those of you who think that you are eligible and you were not processed or did not get part of this benefit, I want to hear from you. The Social Security Administration is prioritizing the remaining complex cases that could not be automated. And so here's where you should pay attention. You may be eligible for this money, but there are some complex cases that need more time. And so if you haven't received your check yet, it's because the Social Security Administration is going to have to manually process these checks. So who does it affect? Those cases require additional time to manually update records and process those benefits. The agency is now prioritizing approximately 200,000 remaining complex cases that could not be processed automatically. Those cases require additional time to manually update records and process them. For example, some beneficiaries who have recently died may qualify for lump sum retroactive payments. And so there may be survivor benefits that could be at play here, and that's why those payments have not been processed. So what could happen next? What can you expect? Well, as the implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act moves into completion, it may be wise for Congress to ask for an audit and make sure that everybody who deserved to receive a benefit actually got the benefit that was intended for them. So let me know in the comment section, did you receive the $6,000 in lump sum from the Social Security Fairness Act? If you did, comment below. Now, let's go to the third good news that is coming for seniors this June. And this has to do with garnishment. Did you know that the government was getting ready to garnish Social Security checks because some seniors had defaulted on a particular payment? The Trump administration announced this policy and they were getting ready, and then they changed their mind. So let's talk about it, because this is an important policy that was causing a lot of seniors stress, because the prospect of having their Social Security check garnished, which was not something that we thought was possible, now is in the news again. So let me share the details with you. So let me go back to my screen and share this news about Social Security garnishment. Here we go. So the Education Department says it will not garnish Social Security of student loan borrowers in default. Well, here's the thing. It may surprise you, but there are some seniors who are still paying their student loans, even at the age where they are collecting Social Security. That is how long some of these student loans tend to last. And so some seniors had defaulted on the loan and were at risk of having their Social Security checks garnished because of the defaults of the student loan, and the government was going to use their Social Security check, a part of it, to pay for their student loans that they were defaulting on. And so let's get an update on this. Borrowers who have defaulted on their federal loans will no longer be at risk of having their Social Security benefits garnished, an Education Department spokesman said on Tuesday. The government last month restarted collection for the millions of people in default on their loans. An estimated 452,000 people age 62 and older had student loans in default. Let me say that again. Think about that. An estimated 452,000 seniors age 62 and older still had student loans that they had defaulted on. So that is not even the total amount of seniors that had student loans. It's the ones that have just defaulted. So it says something that you could get student loans and in your 60s and your 70s and you're still paying on student loans. And so they were going to garnish those social security checks to pay for it. The department has not garnished any social security benefit since the post-pandemic resumption of collection and had paused any social security offsets. That's what the department spokesman said. The Trump administration is committed to protecting social security recipients who oftentimes rely on fixed income. Advocates encourage the Trump administration to go further to provide release for roughly 5.3 million people that are in default. Simply pausing the collection tactic is woefully insufficient, says Persis Yu, executive director of the Student Borrower Protection Center. Any continued effort to restart the government debt collection machine is cruel, unnecessary, and will further fan the flames of economic chaos for working families across the country. The student loan debt among older people has grown at a staggering rate. This is what I want to share with you because this is really, really important. Seniors that are in debt for student loans, even at the age where they're collecting Social Security. So the student loan debt among older people has grown at a staggering rate, in part due to rising tuition that has forced more people to borrow heavily. People aged 60 and older hold an estimated $125 billion in student loans, according to the National Consumer Law Center, a six-fold increase from 20 years ago. This led the Social Security beneficiaries who have had their payments garnished to balloon from 6,200 beneficiaries to 192,000 between 2001 and 2019, according to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. So that is good news. They are not going to garnish your Social Security check in order to pay for student loan default that was growing among a lot of people. So that's the third thing I want to talk to you about. Now I'm going to answer your questions. A lot of you have emailed us questions. You've put your questions in the comments. And so it is question time. And before I do that, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this broadcast from? Go in the comment section, do me a favor, and tell me city and your state. I want to know where you're watching this broadcast from. We enjoy interacting with our viewers. So I want to know your city and your state. Let me know in the comments. Now I'm going to answer your question. If you have a specific question, drop it in the comments. I'm going to do my best to answer all of them. But those questions that were sent ahead of time, I am going to answer those first. And so I'm going to put each of them on the screen, and then I am going to walk you through, what the answer is. So as I'm doing that, if you have any specific question you want me to answer, just drop it in the comment section and we'll do that. So the first question that I want to talk about is coming from Susan Bruce. She says, can I change my mind after I start receiving Social Security? And the answer is yes. When you start receiving Social Security before your full retirement age, let's say you start receiving Social Security at the age of 62, and you a few months later you're like, okay, I don't really think I want to do this because I thought I was going to get more money, but the money I'm getting is not enough. So I'm going to wait till I'm 67, or I'm going to wait till I'm at my full retirement age. Can you change your mind? Yes, you can change your mind within the first 12 months. So I'm going to say that again. Within the first 12 months of receiving Social Security under your full retirement age, you can change your mind. And now what is going to happen is that you would have to pay back all the money that you've received. So let's say that you collected Social Security for 3 months and then you change your mind because you thought you were going to get more benefits, monthly benefit at age 62, but what you're getting is not enough. So you decided that you're going to continue to work until your full retirement age which would be 66 and change, and or 67 coming up next year, well, you have to return all the money back, including the taxes that was taken out of it. And so everything has to return back, and then it will be as if you never collected benefits. But you can only do that one time. So you can only change your mind one time. Now, if you are at your full retirement age and you start collecting Social Security and you change your mind, you can pause your benefits. You can simply pause it. And then you can wait. And then anytime between your full retirement age and age 70, you can restart it. But here's the thing, once you reach age 70, they will automatically start sending you your check again. If you pause it and you reach your full retirement age and you pause your benefits, at age 70, your Social Security checks will automatically start, because at age 70, everybody has to collect their Social Security. You cannot delay Social Security checks after age 70. So that is important thing to know, that you can pause your benefit if you're under your full retirement age within a year of resuming of claiming benefits, but you have to pay everything back that you collected. So if you've been collecting Social Security for 11 months, and let's say they've paid you, $22,000 in taxes, you have to pay all that back in order to change your mind, and then it will be as if you never collected Social Security benefits at all. And then you can continue working and growing your check. And then when you reach your full retirement age and you collect your check finally, you're going to get about 30% more money because you waited until you reach your full retirement age. So that is important to know. To happens to Social Security? The second question, what happens to Social Security benefits when I die? Well, there is survivor benefits. So when you die, it doesn't mean that the money goes away. For most people, it does. But for some people, there's survivor benefits. So those are given to spouses and children who may be eligible. So if you leave behind a child at a certain age, or you have a spouse, a surviving spouse, they are eligible for your Social Security benefits. And the amount that a survivor gets depends on the deceased beneficiary's work history and the relationship to the family member. And so when you die, your Social Security benefits does not completely go away for a lot of people. Some people, it goes to a survivor, or it can go to a child at a certain age. Now, here's the thing. One of the reasons why a lot of people claim Social Security early is because they don't have any survivors and they don't have any children at a certain age. And so for those people, if you die, that's it. Your Social Security benefits, essentially goes back to the government. And so one of the techniques or strategies that some people use is that they will claim Social Security benefits early and just put it in a bank account. And if they don't need it, let's say that you don't need the benefit because you have money coming from other places and you don't think that your life expectancy is going to be long, or you're not sure, you can claim your benefits early, put it in a bank account, get interest on it. At least that money, when you die, you can give it to somebody else in your family. But if you're single, you don't have any children, and you die, your Social Security benefits goes away. So let's say you start collecting benefit at age 67 and you die at age 70, that's it. So that's the strategies that some people use. But I'm not giving you financial advice here. I'm just telling you that this is a strategy you can use. So consult a financial professional to help you make a holistic decision based on your own personal situation. So that question came from Shania Montgomery, about what happens when you die and your Social Security. So I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions related to this particular topic, hit me up in the comments and I'll be happy to answer it. Now, this is Nahez Majulara, she says, when is going to release us exactly? I don't understand that question. Let me go to, I'm 70 year old, but I think I'm 7 years. Let me see here. I'm 70 years old, but I think I'm 7 years old. I need help now for groceries and medicine. I see this a lot. A lot of seniors are struggling to afford groceries, to afford medication because of high cost of living. And so I think that one of the places you can look is definitely applying for food stamps. A lot of seniors qualify. Only half of seniors that apply for are eligible for food stamps actually apply. So it is important for you to apply. Even if you get $50 a month, it's going to be helpful to you. So look into food stamps. Your local food bank is also a place to go. Food banks have now ratcheted up their giving because they know that a lot of seniors are struggling. And there is the senior commodity program where the government will ship you, if you're a senior, the government will ship you a box of shelf stable foods every month. So go to the USDA website and look for that commodity program for seniors. And it's a very, very good program. They'll send you a box of food every month if you sign up. And most seniors are actually eligible for that. The third question is, I received a letter from Social Security that I owe $18,400 in overpayment. How is this possible? This is coming from Jason Ramsfeld. Well, here's the thing. This is a situation of overpayment, and it happens to, unfortunately, about 2 million seniors and people on disability every year. So, what does this mean? Well, essentially, it means that if you're a senior and you're on Social Security, you were receiving Social Security before your full retirement age, and you were still working, and so you have to pay attention to the earnings limit. For 2025, the earnings limit is $23,400 if you're under your full retirement age. It means that if you make more than that amount, for every $2 you go over that limit, you have to they will reduce your social security benefit by $1. What happens is that some seniors fail to report their income. So the Social Security Administration is giving you your full social security benefits, but they're not giving you the earnings limit. So sometimes they would not find out until years later that you were working and making more money over the earnings limit. And so they're going to send you a letter saying that you owe the Social Security Administration all the money they should have withheld from your Social Security check because you were working. That is what overpayment is about. If you're on disability benefits, it also happens to disability beneficiaries where if you're on disability benefits and you're in the, you know, trial or the ticket to work program or trial work period, and you went over the substantial gainful activity limit, that is a limit that when you cross, it puts your benefits in jeopardy. And so if you cross that limit and you've been doing that for a long time, all of a sudden the Social Security Administration catches up to this issue, they're going to send you a bill. And the bill is what the overpayment is about. So what are your options? When you get a Social Security overpayment, what are your options? Well, you have three things you can do. The first one is within 30 days, you're going to get a letter from them. When you get an overpayment letter, they're going to give you that 60 days to reply. Do not wait 60 days. The first 30 days, if you respond, the Social Security Administration is required by law to not take any collection activities against you until they've responded. So that is how you're going to buy yourself some time, especially if you think or disagree with the amount. Respond within 30 days because by law, they have to stop any collection activity. Otherwise, after 30 days, they have a couple of tools. They can take 50% of your Social Security check and use it to pay the overpayment. They can stop your Social Security check completely and use all that money to pay back the overpayment. So your goal is to avoid that collection activity. So respond within 30 days, especially if you dispute the amount that they are saying that you owe. So that's step number one. Step number two, you can appeal or apply for a waiver. If you get a Social Security overpayment letter, you can apply for a waiver. The waiver just means that you are telling the Social Security Administration that I cannot pay this amount. I am unable to pay it. I cannot afford to pay it because it's going to put me in a negative financial situation. I cannot pay this amount. And when you apply for a waiver, they are required to stop any collection activity if you apply within 30 days until they've responded to your waiver request. So at minimum, if you get a Social Security overpayment letter, apply for a waiver because the waiver buys you some time, but it's also your right. So apply for the waiver. The worst they can do is deny it, but at least it's one of the options you have to be able to get relief and tell them that financially you cannot afford it. You have to fill out a form and tell them your expenses and why you cannot afford to pay this overpayment amount. The third option available to you is to appeal. You can appeal and dispute the amount. And if they deny your appeal, then you have one last lever to pull. You can request a hearing before a Social Security administrative judge that will have to look at your case and make a decision. And once the judge makes that decision and says you owe the money, then now you owe the money. And so it's not, it can be scary to get a Social Security letter saying you owe $18,400, just like Jason Rumsfeld just received. It's a serious matter. Do not ignore it. A lot of people try to think it's going to go away if they ignore it. If you do that, they will take your Social Security check completely and use it to pay back the overpayment. I think the Trump administration has said they will take up to 50% of your Social Security check and use it to pay back the money you owe until it's all paid back. So the government has tools they can deploy to make your life very uncomfortable. So if you get a Social Security overpayment, do not ignore it. So Jason Rumsfeld, I hope this was helpful to you. And let's go to the next question. And again, I'm answering questions from people who've watched videos and are putting them in the comments. So you can go in the comments right now. If you have any question, let me know. And then please share this video with people that you know could benefit from this. My whole mission is to bring you up to date and answer questions that are relevant to you that will help you understand what's happening in and out of Congress to your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps benefits, and also answer questions that you have. So if you have any questions about any of these topics, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be reviewing the comments and answer questions that I see. If you like what you're hearing, please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so that you can stay on top of everything that I am doing. I am live every day at 6 p.m. and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you as I continue to do these lives. The next question is, I want to claim Social Security on my ex-husband's record. Can he find out? Well, this is one of the most common questions that I get from divorced people who, typically is like a divorced woman that kind of stayed home with the kids and they did not, their earnings record allows them to get a tiny Social Security check, but they are now divorced. And so they're wondering, can they get Social Security benefits on their ex-husband's or ex-spouse's record? But the second part is that a lot of people are afraid that the ex-spouse is going to find out. And I think there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to Social Security and divorce. A lot of people think that, if you're getting Social Security from your ex-spouse's record, that they are going to lose something. Your ex-spouse does not lose anything. It's not like, some people try to fight it because they're like, I don't want my ex-wife or my ex-husband to claim Social Security on my record. You don't lose anything by them doing that. It's something that they are entitled to because they were married to you. So here are the rules. If you are divorced and you're thinking of claiming Social Security based on your ex-spouse's record, here are the rules you have to pay attention to. Rule number one is that your marriage should have lasted for at least 10 years. So if you were married for more than 10 years, then you've passed rule number one. How can you prove that? Well, you're going to show up with your marriage certificate and then your signed divorce decree. That's going to prove the length of the marriage. The second thing is that you cannot have been remarried, at least not, before age 62. So if you're currently, you know, remarried, then you cannot claim Social Security based on your ex-husband's record. You have to claim benefits based on your current husband's record or your current spouse's record. So you have to be single if you're under age 62. And then the third rule, which is very important, is that a lot of people think that they have to notify their ex-spouse that they are claiming Social Security based on their record. No, you don't. Just go to the Social Security Administration, make sure that you have your documentation to prove you are married to that person for 10 years, you know, and if you're married for the 10 years, plus you are not currently married. Because if you're currently married, then you have to claim on your current spouse's record. So this came from this particular question came from Claire Lee. So Claire, I hope that this explains what you need to do. So no, you do not have to tell your ex-husband that you're claiming Social Security on your record, and they would not find out. The Social Security Administration is not going to notify them that, hey, your ex-spouse is claiming Social Security on your record. They're not going to do that. They are just going to go ahead and process your benefit. And here's the most important part. If the amount you would receive based on your ex-spouse's record is more than the amount that you will receive based on your own record, then they are going to give you Social Security benefit based on your ex-spouse. Now, if you've already started collecting Social Security, can you switch to that? Yes, you can. So contact the Social Security Administration to learn more. Make sure you have all your documentation in place. So that was from Claire Lee. If you have any questions, I'm answering questions live, let me know and I will be happy to answer them for you. I see, let's see, let me go through the chat and see if there's any interesting question. I pay taxes for many years. I'm 68 years old. Will I get a raise? You aren't even looking at comments. Vicky Dawson, I'm actually looking at comments and I'm going to put your comments up. So it says, I pay taxes for many years. I'm 68 years old. Will I get a raise? So let me answer your question here. So basically, I guess you're talking about the $4,000 credit that President Trump and the Republicans in Congress are actually putting up for a vote in the Senate. It has passed the House. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a tax deduction and is based on two different or three different buckets. The first one is that the standard deduction has been enhanced. So yes, if you are currently filing taxes, the standard deduction has been enhanced. And then they have a new senior deduction. So that also applies to seniors. And then the third one is if you're still working and you're getting tips, there's no taxes on tips. If you bought a new car, you can deduct the car loan interest. And because interest rates have gone up now for car loans, that could be a chunk of change. So those 4 or 5 different buckets are all opportunities for seniors to be able to get more money through the tax deduction. So I hope that answers your question. So, I mean, the short answer is that it depends on your situation, but for most seniors, you are eligible for the $4,000 deduction. But here's the rub. You have to be paying taxes currently. That's the difference. And that is why I think that perhaps they should have done this differently, because not every senior on Social Security makes enough money to pay taxes. And so that could be the problem. But yes, you're eligible for the tax break if you are a senior over 65 and you are currently paying taxes on your benefits. I'm going to go through the comments and see if there's anything new. They keep raising the age. Nobody will all be too old to enjoy retirement. I'm sorry, Wayne, for your struggles. So I think somebody, Wayne, posted something I haven't seen yet. I'm 70 years old. Yes. So yeah, I mean, Wayne Ricker, I see this a lot. A lot of seniors are struggling. A lot of seniors are unable to afford groceries. I think you should look into food stamps, as I mentioned earlier, and you should also look at your local food bank. Those are two sources. But I mentioned two government programs. Let me look. Let me search for them, and then I will put them up on the screen. I think the senior commodity the senior commodity program is another place that you could really look. It's a USDA program, um, and one is the. So let me put this up on my screen so that we can all look at that together, because I think this will be important for some seniors. So here it is. So it's called the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. There's actually two programs, and I'll share. So this is the CSFB, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program works to improve the health. Oh, sorry, I don't think you're seeing it. Let me hold on a second. Add to stage, and then remove this and add this. Okay, there we go. So the Commodity Supplemental Food Program works to improve the health of persons with low income at least age 60 years old by supplementing their diet with nutritious USDA food. USDA distributes both food and administered funds to participating states and Indian reservations to do this. So this is a program that has been around for a long time. A lot of seniors are not aware of it, but it pretty much ships food to you every month. And so you have to find a USDA center. So let's look at this fact sheet. I hope you can see this on the screen. Let me put that back on the screen. Give me a second. Let me do that. Share the screen again. There we go. So this will just give you a little more details about how this program works. So let me read through it. It says that the Commodity Supplemental Food Program is designed to improve the health of people with low income who are age 60 years of age by supplementing their diet. It is administered by the USDA. CSFB food packages are supplemental and do not provide a complete diet. Rather, the food packages are good sources of nutrients typically lacked in diets. And so here's an example of what it looks like. It operates in all 50 states, the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, and you get a box each month. So it's funded by Congress. And eligibility, let's look at eligibility. Each state agency and ITO sets income limits for participants, which must be at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. So I guess what you need to know is if you are under the federal poverty level in terms of your income, then you are eligible for this program. And a lot of seniors on Social Security make less than 150% of the federal poverty level. And so the commodity program is a no-brainer. So if you haven't signed up for this program, I think it's important for you to look into and sign up for it. Um, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. That's the first program. There is another program called the Farmers Market Program for Seniors. Let me try and pull that up and share that with you. So give me a second. Let me find that. Let's say Farshid, and give me a second here. So it's called the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So that's the second program that you could actually apply for. So let me pull that up and share that with you so that you know what's happening here. So the Seniors Farmers Market Program, here we go. All right, so that's the second program. It's called the Seniors Farmers Market Program. It helps low-income seniors, provides low-income seniors with access to locally grown fruit and vegetables, honey and herbs, increases domestic consumption of agricultural commodities through farmers market. It aids in the development of new farmers market. And it basically most seniors are eligible. It operates in all states. If you are 60 years and older, you qualify. And if you make less than 185% of the federal poverty level, so even this program is more generous. The other program is 150% of the federal poverty level. This is 175% of the federal poverty level. So if you are eligible for this, you should apply because it's another source of being able to get food. So if you're a senior, able to, especially if you are struggling to buy food. So Wayne Ricker, I hope this helps. As I mentioned, applying for food stamps also help, and your local food bank is also another source. But yes, I am sorry for what you're going through, and I wish Congress was more generous in helping seniors that are struggling, that sometimes get forgotten. So I hope these resources are able to help you um, get the necessary food that you need. So let's go to questions. As I mentioned, I'm answering questions that were dropped in the comment section from my previous video, and I will answer some more questions in the comments. Um, so, how does earnings test affect my earnings if I'm still working while receiving Social Security? This came from Jessica Kind. So, to answer this question, if you are working and you are above your full retirement age, then you don't have to worry about anything. You can work as much as you want, and your Social Security benefits would not be reduced. But if you are working and you are under your full retirement age and getting Social Security, then you have to pay attention to the earnings test. And in 2025, that is $23,400, I believe. So it means that you can make up to $23,400 and not worry about getting your Social Security check reduced. However, if you go over that limit, for every $2 you go over that limit, they're going to reduce the Social Security check by $1. So let's say that you go over the limit by $5,000, then your entire annual Social Security check for that year will be reduced by $2,500. So, why is that important? Well, some seniors get surprised that their Social Security check is reduced because they are working. And so you have to pay attention to that. Now, if 2025 is your full retirement year, where your full retirement age is 2025, then you can make up to $61,190 and not lose any part of your benefits. But if you go over that limit, it's even more generous. For every $20 you go over that limit, you lose $1 in benefit. And as I mentioned, once you reach your full retirement age, you can work as much as you want and you would not lose any benefit. So here's a question from Claire. I'm going to bring that up and answer that in a second. So this is from Claire Bridgman. Sorry. So Claire Bridgman, I am 71 years old and a widow. I only get SSI and food stamps, $97. I am so low income, I don't have to file taxes. Would I be getting anything? Unfortunately, Claire, no. And here's why. Because President Trump promised that he was going to stop taxes on Social Security. And so if you are not paying taxes on your Social Security, you are not going to be able to get even the bonus, because if you're not filing taxes, then there's nothing to deduct. And unfortunately, that affects 40% of seniors. So Claire, you're not alone in this. There's 40% of seniors that do not file taxes on their Social Security benefits. And so this bill that has been passed by Congress is only affecting up to 60% of seniors, and 40% of seniors are left behind. So what can be done for the 40% that are left behind? Well, there is a bill that was put by Senator Bernie Sanders and I think Elizabeth Warren to provide $200 a month in relief to all Social Security and disability beneficiaries, regardless of whether you file taxes or not. That bill is still sitting in Congress, and I'm hoping that is one of the bills that this year will get some movement, where, because a lot of seniors are in your position where they're not getting anything from this $4,000 tax credit, that they will pass the $200 increase that goes to everybody, regardless of whether you file taxes or not. I think that's a better bill and a better help for seniors, where everybody gets a $200 a month increase permanently, and that's $2,400 extra a year for every senior. So that is what I know right now. But the current bill that was passed does not apply to everybody. It applies to those who are actually filing taxes. The next question I want to answer, let's see here. Uh, how do I apply for Social Security disability? What's the difference between SSDI and SSI? Well, first things, let me tell you the difference, and then I'll tell you how to apply and what happens when you apply. So, Social Security Administration runs two disability programs. There is the Social Security Disability Insurance, which is SSDI, and then there's the Supplemental Security Income, which is SSI. What's the difference? Social Security SSDI is for people who have paid into Social Security. They paid enough credits into the Social Security system, and so they are eligible for Social Security benefits. And at some point, found themselves unable to work because of health problems or injury, and so they can no longer work, and so they want to claim disability benefits. There are very strict rules for both Social Security disability insurance and SSI, and you have to meet a ability to work test, and then you also have to meet a health test. So first, the Social Security Administration is going to determine whether you can work. Sometimes you cannot do your current job, but they're going to want to find out if you can do other jobs. And if they determine that you cannot do your current job and a similar category of jobs, then you've passed the first test. Then the second test, there is a list of ailments or conditions that qualify for disability benefits. So you have to prove that your health condition meets one of those categories. Now, the difference is that people who apply for SSI have not earned enough credits, but they are disabled and they are low income. And so they qualify for disability, but they don't qualify for SSDI, which is of higher amount. When you apply for SSDI, you get a higher amount, but Social Security SSI benefits is maximum $943 a month. That's all you get if you're approved. That is a very, very low amount, but that is need based and provides benefits to individuals with low income and disabilities. So it also applies to some seniors who are on Social Security but are receiving such a low amount in Social Security benefits that they can also get SSI benefits on top of that. That's a whole separate video. But the difference between SSI and SSDI is that one of them you pay into, and if you have enough credits, you're eligible for. The other one, if you don't have enough credits to qualify for SSDI, but you're low income and you're disabled and you qualify based on the health requirements and the work requirements in terms of your ability to do the job or similar jobs like the one you were doing before, then you qualify. So they go through the same process. It's just that one of them you pay into, one of them you don't. And one of them is higher on average. One of them is fixed at $943 with cost of living increases that are very tiny. And so it is a very, very hard life when you're getting SSI because you're only getting $900 a month and you have to live off that. And if you start to work and you earn a certain amount of money, you may lose your benefits entirely because it may show that you're no longer disabled. And so the government takes your benefits away. So that is from Frank Foster. I hope that was helpful to you. Please continue to look in the comments for any more questions that you may have. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And then this question is from Kim Terrell, and her question is, what is a do-over when it comes to Social Security? Well, This is a question that I rarely get, but it's a very good one. So a do-over is when you you find out something about your social security benefits that it was incorrectly calculated in the past. So when you start receiving benefits, somehow they made a mistake. Maybe they under counted your income. Remember, when you get social security benefits, they're going to look at the last, the top 35 years when of your earnings. The top 35 years of your earnings is what they're going to look at, and then they're going to calculate your benefits based on that. Every year, the Social Security Administration gets data from the IRS telling them how much you've made and how much you've paid into Social Security. Sometimes that data is incorrect. And so before you start filing for Social Security, it's important to go to the Social Security website and get your earnings record, your entire earnings record, and make sure that every year is correct, because they're picking the best 35 years. And if they're putting zeros in some years because they did not get the record from the IRS, and that is going to impact your benefits. And so sometimes people start collecting benefits and then they realize that, holy, they did not calculate my benefits correctly. And then they find out somehow, because maybe years later they try to create a social security account, and then they're able to download their entire earnings record. They look at the record and they see that there's all these years that are missing, and they go to the Social Security Administration and they tell you, oh, we did not get any record from the IRS, so it told us you were not working that year, and you actually did work. Well, then you're eligible for a do. And so the rule can be used if you discover new information or evidence that supports that your Social Security was incorrectly calculated in the first place. Then it requires them to recalculate your benefits and give you the money that you had lost, and then continue giving you the right amount going forward. So that is a Social Security do-over. That was from Kim Terrell. And let's see if we have any more questions. Is Social Security running out? This is from Ava Kinsley. Will Social Security still be around when I retire? Well, we get a lot of these questions from people who are still working and are thinking about their future in Social Security and are worried that it may not be around when they retire. So let me put your mind at ease and give you a couple of things to think about. The first one is that Social Security is going to be around. The question is in what form and how much. So the worst case scenario, the very worst case scenario, is that you're going to get 70% of what you're eligible for. Why is that? Well, the Social Security system is paid for by taxes, payroll taxes that are coming in. So current payroll taxes pay for benefits of current beneficiaries. And in an ideal world, enough people are paying into the system to be able to pay the Social Security benefits of the people who are currently receiving benefits. That's how it was designed. The Social Security system does not have a big chunk of money sitting somewhere that is waiting, and then the government just distribute that. So the money you pay today is paying for somebody's benefit now. And the idea is that in the future, enough people will be working to pay for your benefits. In years that there are more people paying into the system than people are taking out of the system, the surplus goes into something they call the Social Security Trust Fund. And the Social Security Trust Fund is supposed to be then invested in government bonds to earn interest. And it just sits there. And it's supposed to be kind of your rainy day fund. Well, that rainy day fund comes into play when there's an imbalance where you get into a situation where more people are taking Social Security benefits than the amount that is being paid through payroll taxes into the system. Well, that is where we are right now, because for years there was a surplus, and now there's a deficit. There's a $200 billion deficit every year. Now, the Social Security Trust Fund has a $1.7 trillion surplus that has been piled over for a bunch of years, decades. Now we're taking 200 billion out of that every year. But there's a big problem. Not enough people are working to support the amount of people that are getting Social Security benefits. And so we're going to continue to make up that difference with money from the rainy day fund. Well, that rainy day fund is going to run out in 2033. So if nothing is done, if Congress does not do anything to increase the amount of money that is coming into the system or slow down the amount of money that is being taken out of the system, we're going to run out of money in the rainy day fund. And then only 70% of Social Security benefits are going to be able to be paid from the money that's coming in from the people that are working to support retirees in 2033. So I hope that kind of gives you a lay of the land of what's happening. And so will Social Security be around? Yes, it will be around. It's just that Congress has to act. They have to do things to bring more money into the Social Security system through increasing the payroll tax or raising the income, eliminating the income limit so that everybody pays Social Security taxes on every amount they receive. Currently, you only pay Social Security taxes on the first $176,100 in benefits. Well, if they remove the cap and allow everybody to pay, the person making 500,000 pays Social Security taxes on all 500,000. The person making $1 million pays Social Security taxes on all the $1 million. The person making $1 billion pays Social Security on all the $1 billion. There will be enough money to last the Social Security system for 75 years. But currently, it's only up to 176,100. Whether you make a billion or 500,000 or 50,000, up to the first $176,100 as of 2025 is eligible for Social Security taxes. And so you can see how that's a problem. So Congress has to do something to bring in more money, or they have to slow down how much money is being taken out. How do they slow it down? Increase the retirement age or remove cost of living adjustments, all things that are not pleasant. And so the solution is that Congress has to do something. So that I hope that Ava Kinsley, I hope that's helpful to you. It will be around, but you may not get everything that you've paid into because there won't be enough people paying into to support your retirement. So guys, that's all I have today. If you liked what you heard, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, please do so. Go to benefitsinsider.co/subscribe, or you can go into the description to this video. Why is this important? Well, if you don't want to miss out on senior discounts, senior benefits, news and updates, breaking news, there's so much happening right now, then sign up for the newsletter. And finally, let's talk about Medicaid. If you're on Medicaid and you're not happy with your plan, or you think you could do better, our partner Chapter is the people to call. Chapter, I have been doing this for 15 years. I've never partnered with any benefit advisor because a lot of them take advantage of seniors. Chapter is the real deal. If you call them on the number on your screen, they are advocates in your corner. They are the people that are going to share with you every Medicaid option that is available, Medicare option that's available in your state. And then they're going to help you understand what the copays are, what doctors are in that network, what prescription drugs coverage there is in that program, and then help you compare that Medicare plan to traditional Medicare and help you make an important decision. They don't push a specific Medicare plan. They don't work for a specific Medicare provider. They are there to advocate for you and help you get the best. And here's the thing, they don't even pay their agents to push any plan. That's how good these guys are. And they can save you $1,100 a year. Probably the number one reason why I partner with them is because they are the only company that has access to all 24,000 Medicare plans. And because 90% of all seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan, remember that 90% of all seniors are in the wrong Medicare plan. Why? Because there's 24,000 plans to sort through. So Chapter is there to help you sort through that. So call the number on the screen or go into the video description. There is a form you can fill out and they'll reach out to you and help you get into the best Medicare plan. So call Chapter today. Everybody we've sent there have nothing but high 5-star reviews, lots of great comments about the experiences that they've had versus every other Medicare company out there they've been dealing with. So I know that you have a good experience when you call them. And when you do, I want you to come back here and let us know in the comments so that other people would know that they're missing out on getting to the best Medicare plan by not calling Chapter today. So, guys, that is the news and update I have for you. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Until then, thank you for hanging out with me today.